friends, welcome back to Three Barrow Farm. Well, yesterday was the most glorious day, and of course I was working all day, so I didn't get to get out here in the garden except to harvest some broccoli, some sprouting broccoli, and some leaves from the sprouting broccoli plants to put in my dehydrator. So I've been dehydrating kale and broccoli so far this week. They are ready to process because they only took basically yesterday and a bit of this morning. So as you can see, it is rainy and cold, and I'm hoping that it doesn't rain just now so I can get a few things done out here in the garden, because it is September and we just have to keep going with it. So I've got my rain jacket on and I've got my umbrella as well. I'm hoping that it doesn't rain while I film, but I've got some sweet peas here to plant out. They desperately need to go out because they're getting really, really tall and growing many branches off each plant. So these need to go out into the garden today. And I've also got some red spring onions and some red onions to plant out. Now my other spring onions and my brown, Australian brown onions, I've got some of the standard white spring onions, just one out of the 4 that I've planted them in. And that might have been due to the cats inside, because I can see that this has been dug out a bit, so they may have disturbed those. But I haven't been watering this section here for a few weeks because these brown onion seeds, they just never came up. And I remember the last time I planted the Australian brown onions, they didn't come up either. So maybe the seed is a bit old. I'm going to give them one more go. But basically I need to get out here and get these into the ground so I can use these trays to plant more of my summer plants. So I'm going to be sowing some more eggplants and capsicums and chilies into these trays. I slipped a little bit yesterday and I planted 2 zucchini seeds in my seed trays. So I'm definitely going to be planting out. I think I did 2 cucumbers as well. I'm definitely going to be planting those or potting them up before I plant them out, because there's no way I'm planting them out just yet. Okay, I'm going to plant these spring onions among these lettuces I have here, which we've been harvesting from. We've just been cutting the whole entire lettuce head off. And I did weed through here, but there are a few weeds still coming up. Particularly when I first started this garden, I had a lot of clover coming up. And I know clover is good, but it also suffocates everything else. So I didn't really want the clover growing as much as it was. So I kept pulling it out and, fought it off quite well by suppressing it with cardboard and newspaper, and then lots and lots of manure and compost on top, and some mulch as well. And I've managed to keep it away. However, occasionally there will be a little one that comes up, but they're pretty easy to pull out when they're very young. So as I'm going down this row, I'm mulching. But today I won't be mulching. I'm just going to plant these out and hope for the best. I think I'll do a couple of rows in the middle here, and I might be able to mulch it a tiny bit, depending on when the rain comes and how windy it will get. Of course, the soil is really soggy because it's been raining, but this means that it's also got lots of moisture to give to these spring onions that I'm planting in. So that's kind of cool. And I won't need to water these in because we are expecting more rain. All right, there we go. The spring onions are in the ground. Now I will come along and mulch them after I've planted the sweet peas. So as you can see, I'm making my way along this row and mulching it as I go. I'm going to be doing a little bit of harvesting this morning as well. And as you can see here, I have some older red spring onions that I planted back in autumn. So these ones are definitely ready or past ready to harvest. And I'm going to need to dig them out. They've probably got some really strong root systems in the ground there. I really, really want to take you on a garden tour very soon. Hopefully there'll be a day that's not so wet. But as you can see here, my mint is coming back. So I'm going to harvest a little bit of this today to add into some smoothies. So there's so much grass and weeds in this patch here. I really need to spend some time weeding, but I'm just finishing off the other patch for now. As you can see in front of me, there are chives growing. They're coming back and they're looking really, really happy and healthy. So I'm very excited. All 8 plants have come back after their dormancy over winter. After so many harvests from the Brussels sprout plants, they are now, ooh, that wind, they're now starting to go to seed. Oh, there's some of that strong wind. There are still some little Brussels sprouts growing, but what I'll probably do with these plants is dehydrate the rest of them, dehydrate the leaves, and perhaps the rest of the little Brussels sprouts, because as you can see here, this is going to shoot up flowers. So each individual one of these that are left on the plant and the top part of the plant as well, each of these are going to flower. So it will have many, many flowers coming out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another green powder out of all of this, but I just have to wait a couple of days until the green powders that I'm currently dehydrating have finished. And then I'll be able to do the Brussels sprouts. I will be cooking 1 or 2 more meals with some of this as well, though not all of it is going to seed just yet. See, there's a small Brussels sprout there. So I might take as many as I can off these plants, even if they're really small. I'll take them off and we can cook them up tonight. Another thing I'll be dehydrating soon, I might take a couple of these to dehydrate today, are the calendula flowers. So I make my own calendula balm, which I sell as well. And I grow, oh, there's a little spider in that one. Let's move the spider into another flower. So I use all of my, oh, another spider. Sorry, mate, you were hiding from the rain in there, I imagine. Yeah, I grow all of my calendulas that I use in my calendula oil that I infuse. And then I make calendula balm from the oil. Now, the best time to harvest these is on a morning when it's not so wet, but I'll put these straight into the dehydrator and they'll be fine. They'll dry out pretty fast. I need to harvest this broccoli here. So this is the Romanesco broccoli. There's another one over here. So another one here. This one is also starting to separate, so it's pretty much ready to harvest. It didn't get as big as it probably wanted to, but that's probably because it was overshadowed by all of the other broccolis around it. So I've got all these sprouting broccolis to harvest, and this is what I've been dehydrating because I have got so very, very much of it all the way down here. So I thought it would be great to make a green powder from them. And they dehydrate really well. It's my first time dehydrating broccolis. And they don't take very long at all, the sprouting broccoli. However, I'm going to eat some of this today. There's a cauliflower that's going to seed, so this one will flower eventually. There's so much kale to harvest as well. And as you can see over here, there wasn't a very long time between these radishes or, oh, I'm not sure what that is. Something has mutated here. So maybe that is a radish. It just didn't get to its full capacity. But I think some of the radishes, like this one here, has actually been a turnip or something, because that got quite big, but now it's gone to seed. So a lot of these radishes along here, or whatever they are, they're all going to seed now. So there wasn't much time between them bulbing up and going to seed. So it shows you that when it's warm, when the soil gets that much warmer, and perhaps these weren't watered all that well, because a lot of them are on the edge of the garden bed and the irrigation is over here. So perhaps they didn't get watered enough. But they won't go to waste. I can easily give these to my chickens and sheep and they will eat the leaves off them. You could use some of the really young leaves though, and the tops. You could definitely stir fry the tops where they're going to flower. But I think my chickens will enjoy some green from these today. I have a huge amount of parsley to process in some sort of way. So we've been eating through it, but as you can see, it's growing like crazy. And every now and then I pick some and eat it. I love eating parsley in the garden. As you can see here, I've got some parsley seedlings coming up. So they are my next parsley plants. I don't generally plant any seed in the ground because parsley will just come up by itself from the parsley plants that I let go to seed. So I will let one of these go to seed eventually and it will spread its seed, and then we'll have more parsley plants again coming up in autumn. Another thing I have been harvesting and dehydrating are these cabbages that are going to seed. So I have been harvesting the whole lot and I'm making a green powder from them. So I'll probably harvest this one today or tomorrow, depending on how the green leaves go in my dehydrator today. And I shall pop them in the dehydrators and make a powder from this. And I have got so many cabbages ready to consume. So I will be making some sauerkraut and we will definitely be eating these up in soups and whatnot. Send me your cabbage recipes. I love finding new recipes to use them with, but I'm definitely going to be eating all of these. So I'm definitely going to be harvesting them very soon because I don't want them to go to seed. So looks like I need to harvest that one soon because this little bit here just feels a little bit pointy. So that's where the flower is going to come out. And this one here looks so tight. It's got a little bit of damage on the leaves around the top, but once you take those off, it'll be perfectly fine. And we've got more kale here. All my kale are doing so well. This one's not going to seed, but this one is. So I'm harvesting a lot of kale and I'm doing a lot of smoothies at the moment and a lot of green powders from the kale as well. And the cauliflowers. I wasn't expecting this rain. For some reason, I wasn't looking at the weather and I wasn't expecting there to be so much rain. So I'm definitely going to be harvesting these cauliflowers. And there's one here that I should actually close the leaves over. Oh, I've still got one here that I have closed the leaves on. So that's good. It's got a little bit of exposure here though. So We shall see how well that goes. Got one over here that desperately needs to be harvested that has a bit of damage. Another one that's coming into heading up, and another one here. And then I've got my purple cauliflowers. If you remember in my last video, I mentioned this one was like white with a little bit of blush. And obviously they get purple as they continue growing. And this one I still haven't harvested, so I think I will harvest that one today. And there are more coming up. So here we go. Here is a purple cauliflower. It is white with a little bit of blush at the start, and then it will turn purple. And I've got another one coming up here. And another one over there. I've got this mammoth of a fennel in here that I also need to harvest. So I will be harvesting that one today as well. And then I've got my kales going to seed. So this variegated one, I'm going to let go to seed because I'm interested to see if I collect the seed from this, whether it grows the same kales as this plant. And you can see I've got a sea of kale going to seed here. My thyme is coming back to life. It's got lots of new growth coming through, but there's also some dead parts that I need to hack back. So this is a good time to trim back all of the dead parts, and all this new stuff will come through. All right, I better get to planting these sweet peas now. Now, I know that it is safe to put my sweet peas out because I've got some of my sweet peas already growing in my garden. So hopefully these new seedlings won't get frost damage or anything like that. I'm going to try to plant them in amongst plants that are already in this row, hopefully to give them a little bit of shelter. So my trays are ready to fill up again. These are snapdragons, so they aren't ready to put out yet. So they'll keep growing in these trays until they're big enough and there's no more frost. And I've planted all of the sweet peas out. So they're all in amongst these plants here. And I have been harvesting and doing a little bit of weeding, and it hasn't rained yet, which is great, but I do see some darker clouds on the horizon. So I probably won't be out here that much longer, but who knows, I might be able to get a whole day out here in between the showers of rain and get some weeding done. One thing I noticed when I cut this purple cauliflower off was that it is actually attached to the other purple cauliflower growing in here. So they're coming from the same plant. So one came out this way and the other went straight up. It's also got this little one growing on the side as well. So I got two and a tiny little thing from this one plant. And I grew these cauliflowers from seed, which makes it all the more wonderful. They are just doing so well. Of course, they were a little bit later than some of my cauliflowers because I grew them from seed. And the other cauliflowers, I purchased seedlings. And then I've got these other cauliflowers coming up, which I also grew from seed as well. And look at this gorgeous harvest. I've got two lettuces up here. I've got a cabbage over here and a few cauliflowers and a basket full of sprouting broccoli, as well as two broccoli heads that are heading to go to seed. Got my purple cauliflower. I'm pretty happy with that. Beautiful harvest there. I've got to remember to go and get my spring onions out. I've got to dig those out of the garden. I'm definitely going to be making some more cauliflower soup with all these cauliflowers and blanching some as well to put in the freezer. Definitely going to be blanching some more broccoli and dehydrating it as well. We're going to have a salad today with these 2 lettuces. And I harvested one of the cabbages, so I'm looking forward to making this into a dish for dinner tonight. Well, there is so much to do in the garden, and we have to be out here in this sort of weather just to get things done. So I'm glad I've got some plants out in the garden already, and I've got 2 seed trays there ready to fill up again with seed, and I will be impatiently waiting for my eggplants and capsicums and chilies to sprout. I have about 2.5 weeks left of sunlight coming into the house, and then I will have to start raising my seedlings outside. Our house is a passive solar house, so the sun doesn't come through in the summertime to keep it nice and cool, and the sun comes in the wintertime to warm it up. So it is coming to that time. It generally disappears at the start of October and then comes back somewhere in March. So I'm going to lose the sun inside the house, which means, you know, I really need my seed raising hothouse, but it's not happening for this spring. It is going to start being built though, and hopefully I will be able to raise my autumn seedlings in my greenhouse, and I won't have to worry about the cats sleeping on my seedlings and digging up and eating my plants. I've noticed that they have chewed off quite a few of the sweet pea heads of the branches coming up. So yeah. And with there being lots of things to do in the garden and on the farm at the moment, I haven't been able to film as often and as in-depth videos as I've wanted to, but I will have some time in October, and I will be getting to a lot of your requests eventually in October. September is quite busy, so I'm just going to keep plodding along and getting things done and filming some harvesting and planting and things I can film easily where I can. So I hope you have enjoyed this little trip around the garden with me to see what's growing here. And I do look forward to bringing you a tour very soon. It's a little bit difficult to do tours because they take a lot longer to film. I'm just sitting in front of my little beetroots that have been trying to grow all winter, and now they're just starting to bulb up, which is really lovely to see. I'm looking forward to having some fresh beetroot again. I've got some beetroots over there that are starting to go to seed. It's amazing watching things bloom and change and grow so rapidly with just the tiniest bit of heat. You know, the soil is definitely changing. My spinach is leafing up so much more now as well. It's quite amazing, and I really just want to keep getting the seed and the seedlings into the garden and succession sowing things so that I have a good flush of food coming in over the growing season. All right, I can feel a little bit of rain now, so I'm going to go off and harvest some of the large red spring onions, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment down below, click like and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. Also, sharing my videos is a great thing to do as well, because all of these things help other people find my videos, and I know that I've helped a lot of people who live in the similar climate here, because there's not a lot of channels out there in central Victoria. So this is why I started my channel, and I'm really, really enjoying talking to you all and learning about all of you who live in similar climates to me. And of course, I love hearing from everyone else, no matter where you are living, just what you're doing in the garden. It really cheers me up to hear. So happy harvesting, happy planting, happy sowing. I'm going to see what else I can get done today.